G'day everyone, it's me, the anti-theocrat, back with another one. Before I go into the main content, it's a quick sales pitch. It's the only one you're getting, so enjoy it. Below these videos, I do attach all links to the information if there are links to be had. I also archive all of the information if that's possible. I also supply links to other platforms for my content and how to support me if you wish to do so. That'd be nice, but no requirement. That's it. That's my intro. That's my sales pitch. It's all I've got. It's all you're ever going to get. And now, on with the show. Okay, new intro. Isn't that exciting? Let's try something different. I wanted to talk about BLM. I've been avoiding this topic, and I'm also avoiding finishing my book. I'm not avoiding finishing my book review. I've had the family home and haven't had time to get into the studio. I did a quick video just to get something out. I'm going to do this one at 4 o'clock in the morning, just to get something out again before I head bush for a couple of days, which means the book review won't get finished till the end of the week. I hope you can all hang out for the exciting conclusion. It's probably going to be two-part to get to the end. So I thought we'd mention Black Lives Matter, and let's see if we can bring something up here. Just gives it technical stuff, you know. Don't organise these things ahead. I'll never bloody get there. Anyway, Black Lives Matter. Let's go down here. Do this. Oh, look, there they are.
What do you want?
Hang on.
When do you want it?
Okay, that might not be them. That might be Antifa. They look a bit white. Alright, I'll get rid of that. Someone's striking that video all over the place, so I won't use too much of it. I think that's just fair use there, isn't it? Oh, excuse me if you got that. Righto. It's the 5 to 4 in the morning thing going on. You get hungry when you've been up this long at night. Anyway, I want to play. We'll open that screen again to start our video. Now, I'm going to just talk along with the video. I hope this works. I have not had a great deal of success getting this system to work, but I've made some changes. Hopefully we won't get too much echo. Here goes nothing.
Higher pain threshold. Why do you think kneeling?
All right. You will have noticed at the start of that I had blanked some letters in the thing at the bottom there. I have seen a lot of other people play this video, and they didn't have that there. But I wanted to be fair to the fellow who you are seeing the name of down here. This could get me banned on some social media sites, and the ones that I could get banned on, you will also note that in the descriptions where I tell you where else to find me if you lose me on one of these ones that bans people, that I have no HTMLs, wwws or .coms on my addresses where such things are applicable, because if I link other social medias, I can also be degraded in the findings, or whatever in the fuck you want to call it. Essentially, you are not going to find me anyway, but you're going to find me less if I have links. So you can see information at the bottom of that video about the person who made the video. Part of the reason I'm giving you this information is because I know some people are going to go, oh, he's right wing. Well, I'm sorry, I don't find Tommy that way. He's not my cup of tea all the time, but he does come up with some very good video, and this one I understand where it comes from, and I understand what he's trying to do. Essentially, he tells the story, and you can look this up for yourself, but I think I'll try and fast track us through that. He made a video about BLM. He got a bit of flack from it. He decided that what came out of that was that people didn't understand what BLM was. So he thought he'd talk to people from BLM and supporters of BLM to try and work out if people did understand what it was they were supporting. This is a BLM, so she's a leader, apparently a leader. I will question that later on, because I don't think she is a leader, but she is put forward as a leader of BLM in Oxfordshire, I believe, in the UK. So anyway, we'll listen to the video, and I shall comment as we go. We'll see what we end up with. I just want you to know that I was being fair to the person who created the video. There will be some extra footage from his entire video to make a point at the end of this. Yeah, we'll see where we go. See how soon I get booted off some social media sites. See if we can get away
on a man's neck for 8 minutes and 46
Did you see?
seconds.
So if I can show you a video.
I would like to point out that 8 minutes is significantly shorter than the white man who was kneeled on by a black man sometime before this one. I think he was more than 14 minutes leaned on, and when he went unconscious, they stood around and laughed about him going to sleep after the hold. That man also died. The difference between that man and this one is that that man had called the police, and that the man that she's talking about was being arrested. Now, in both of those cases, there is missing information. We don't know how the white man ended up pinned to the ground, and we don't know how the black man ended up pinned to the ground. All we know is they were. We could, if we were generous, assume that the police officers were given reason for this. But either way, people died. The 8 minutes that she is talking about is less than the 14 minutes that happened with someone else. Why is that not significant? Moving on, we shall see if we can get back to this video.
That's a legal hold, by the way.
Listen, you just need to shut up, man. You're a coon. You just need to shut up.
Get angry some more and threaten me some more.
Get angry.
Yeah. I'm guessing from that she has threatened him before this point. And I don't know exactly what his part in this is or why he's talking. But I agree with him. My understanding is that this is a legal hold for the police officer to use in the US. Or was. Whether it will stay that way is questionable, but it was at the time. And that's after the white man had died, so there was no change then. We'll see if the change happens now. In any case, the point he makes is relevant. Why he's making it, I'm not sure. But yes, as you can see, he's a rather large black man, and I'm going to move on and leave it at that, because this is going to get worse.
And threaten you some more. Yeah. I promise you, I don't threaten you, I promise you.
Promise, okay.
Okay. Anyone who's not getting this, a promise is she's threatened to take him outside and beat him up, but she's not calling it throwing him out, taking him outside and beating him up, because that might get her in trouble. She's made him a promise, and she's going to take him outside to sort out the promise.
So come out there. Let's live through the promise.
I mean, I'm not scared by her. And no, I'm probably as big as that guy. Maybe not quite that big. I don't have that much neck, so maybe I'm a little bit smaller than he is, but I'm not scared of this woman. I doubt he's scared of her particularly, except that she probably knows that she's the most privileged group of people on the planet at the moment. Because who in the world would dare to criticize a black woman at the moment, other than a black man? And even a black man is still in danger of putting up with this guy's put up with. The thing is, excuse me, the privilege of black women seems to have overtaken the privilege of white women, to the degree that the video, the footage I'll play later, shows that a white woman is hiding behind this black woman. She has a handler. She's been coached and told what to do. And the person behind her is a white woman. Now that woman must be worried that she's not going to have as much impact as this black woman. And nobody's likely to criticize this black woman for reasons we are going to find out.
Come out there, let's live through the promise. Come on. Come out there, we'll live through the promise.
Now, I'd like to point out here that you can hear Tommy in the background trying to bring things back to calm, right? He's trying to calm the situation down. I'd just like to point that out because, again, the fact that Tommy, Mr. Unmentionable, is behind this footage, people are going to say, oh, but he created this situation. You can hear him in the background trying to calm things down.
Promise you now. Come on. Come out there, we live it through.
Okay, dude.
You're a coon. Dude, what? What do you mean? Because I'm a girl, you think I'm gonna fuck you up? Come on, man. Because I'm...
She's a girl, she's gonna fuck him up. I don't think anyone's scared of that particularly. I think you're an overinflated little, imp? Who stuck the helium up your ass? I don't know, but you're overinflated. You know, you did get her calling him a coon. She will do so again, I believe. But yes, she took the time to call him out as a coon. And now she's fixated on the word dude. Look, dude was a fashionable word in the late 80s, early 90s. It did not refer to male or female. It was just a word for people. It was considered quite friendly too. I know you're probably too young to understand this, but apart from the song Don't Call Me Dude, dude was considered to be a relatively friendly and non-gendered way to approach people. Alright, moving on.
I'm a girl.
We're here.
You're a girl, yes. And dude is not gendered.
You're here to drive this side out to make it look like all black people are ignorant, yeah.
No, I don't think he is there to make all black people look ignorant. I think he's there to not leave Tommy presenting a white face asking black people questions. Because we know how that rolls out. But the only person made stupid here was you. Made to look stupid here was you, and you did that, not him. You did that all on your own.
I'm angry right now.
For the record, not all black people, right? He didn't make himself look stupid. He's black too, you know. He didn't make himself look stupid. He made you look stupid.
Because of what's going on, it's made me angry, yes. Just like when he was angry when he thought that his town was being destructed, his city statues were going up. I'm angry too.
Now you understand the difference between these two angers? No, you don't. Of course you don't. The difference is that you are in his towns destroying shit. Shit that the public paid for, that was voted to be where it is or put up by governments with the approval of the system that such things are put up with. Nobody's giving you the right to go in there and pull them down. You are destroying other people's property. You are destroying the public property. Sorry, microphone. The difference between their anger and yours is nothing's happened to you. You are one of the most privileged people on the planet. Nothing has happened to you. You live in a world surrounded by cotton balls and bubble wrap. So please don't pretend that these are the same sorts of anger. Your anger is being pumped up by whoever your handlers are, whatever nonsense you've been reading on Twitter. You're just an angry little imp.
Of course you're angry.
Yeah, so why are you calling me dude? What does the dude mean?
And you also
what does the dude mean?
You don't believe stats and facts.
What does the dude mean?
It's recorded.
What does the dude mean? What does the dude mean?
Do you know, I'll be honest.
How am I? You're what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
She's so focused on the word dude that he can tell her that she's said that she won't accept facts and figures, and she just keeps focusing on dude. Because if she addresses the fact that she hasn't accepted facts and figures, and I'm guessing the interview was done before this, or bits of it, she doesn't appear to be interested in facts and figures. She's just interested in being an angry little imp.
You are what we're dealing with.
Overly emotional, angry, quick to violence.
You calling a black woman angry?
No, he's calling a brown woman angry. The fellow next to you, he's blacker than you are. He is actually black. I have friends who are darker than him, so by my standard, he's still black. But you're brown. I don't know what makes you think that you've got the right to speak for him. Don't you know about the levels and shit that you know? You're not black. You're not black enough to speak for black people. You're brown. And yes, you are angry. You said it yourself. You said, I'm angry. At least once. I think 2 or 3 times. In this video, minutes ago, seconds ago, you said, I'm angry. And you're brown. What about it? Why can't he say it? It's clearly the truth. I know. He said you didn't like the truth.
You're a coon. You don't need
And there she is again. I told you she'd call him a coon again.
to be in this conversation. You don't need to be in this conversation.
You should be able. You should.
Coons can't be in the conversation. She doesn't like them. They're not her black fellas.
How can I racially abuse this man? Can someone give this brother some knowledge?
I can give you some knowledge, little girl. You wouldn't call me a coon. You wouldn't call my wife a coon. I'm white. She's Asian. You just wouldn't call us coons. That is a racially... it has a racial... Oh, fuck, if I can find the word for that. It is racial. It is aimed at one particular race of people, one particular skin colour. Not a race, because that's like assuming all white people are the same. I don't assume all black people are the same. Sorry. It's just the way they carry the narrative. It's contagious sometimes, and I try not to let it get to me, but yeah. Anyway, little girl, coon is a racial word. You're not calling me or my wife coon anytime. And if you did, you wouldn't mean it the same way.
How can I racially abuse him?
How can you racially abuse him? Or did you mean coon to mean good friend? Good friend and ally? Person I think is wise and smart and handsome? Did you mean any of that? You didn't, did you? You meant coon as a racial insult. We've already established that it's racial, and you meant it insultingly. It is a racial insult. Just because you're the same race as him doesn't mean it's not a racial insult. Right? All those honkies that are hanging out with you, right? And I'm using that as a racial insult, but all those honkies who are hanging out... Well, by the way, I had an Aboriginal mate who was bung to me, and I was honky to him. These words do not need to be racial insults. You can use them in other ways as well. But, for the record, I'm using this as a racial slur. Those honkies who hang out with you, the ones who are behind you, the ones who drive you in what you're doing, the ones who write your scripts, these honkies, they racially insult me all the time. And I'm handing it back to them and calling them honkies. They call me... I am Satan incarnate by being white. And I should bend the knee to the black people, or kiss their boots, or whatever in the fuck else. Jeez, I've seen some horror videos of people just pandering to the narrative. But those people racially insult me, and I racially insult them. You are racially insulting the man you are talking to.
How can I...
Unarmed black men being killed, do you?
Do I believe?
No, not based on.
This is not the only video I have of this woman. She doesn't get any better either. But I'm going to move on in Tommy's discussion, because what happens next is Tommy presents this woman's handler. She calls up and says, "This is my PA." I do not believe this is the PA. The PA sounds like a handler in every way, shape or form. But I will present you this little bit of evidence that these people are only fronts. This poor little imbecile with the dark skin, this is not the enemy. This is.
Just looking out for her, and I respect the fact that you guys had a conversation and that you speaking to me. I just kind of.
What I said to Sasha is she said some racial slurs, which I don't think is a fucking good look for her, and I think it was quite out of order. Now I tried to ask her again to give her the opportunity at the end to clear up that she might have been angry and she might have said some things that were wrong, but she's totally stood by what she said, and I don't think it's a good look for her, to be honest.
Is that something that you're going to use in your footage?
That I don't know what I'll use. I've got to watch it all back through.
It would just be really good from kind of my point of view to see if we could know in advance. Understand.
We'd like to know in advance if you're going to use that footage, because we'd like to smear your name in the media and in public before you get to do that, so that we can head off this this tyrant of videos about this thing, and there has been a few.
If that is what you're going to use, it would be obviously great if you didn't, because
it would be great if you didn't use this footage, because it'd be really terrible to show this woman presenting herself as she is.
I know that the amazing thing about Sasha is that she's a grassroots activist. She's a working class black woman who hasn't got a history in politics, who hasn't got a history in public relations, hasn't got a history in kind of speeches and, you know, how to contain that anger and passion, and that's why things like that come out.
Right, so that's good for you, is it? That's good for you, that what you need is a spokesman who's the right colour and puts the right amount of insane energy and anger into what she does and says. That's good for you. The thing is, that doesn't fucking work for me. So why should we not show this person for what she is? We're not here to serve you.
And that's the kind of beauty of it, the fact that she's able to speak from her heart.
It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't beautiful though.
No, of course, but like that's passion and raw anger, and obviously.
No, the passion and raw anger, it works for you. It works for you to pump out an emotional attachment to your cause. Because your cause isn't about facts and figures and actually changing anything. It's about driving an emotional, passionate, violent, revolutionary movement. And you need little black girls, imbecilic little black girls, to be your voice, to read your scripts. You've said it. She knows nothing. She's not trained. She doesn't know how to speak in public. These are not terrible things. I've never been trained to do public speaking. I've done it before. I am a performer. So it's something I can do, but I'm not trained for it. I am not a revolutionary socialist, so I'm not trained for that sort of thing. But while there's nothing wrong with that, you are using this to further your cause, and your cause is not in our interest. We have no reason to not use this material. So I'm going to move on and use some other material that this woman has put out, or has been put out with this woman. Shall we? Not the handler, this one. Excuse me, a tick. I put in a lead on this so that we wouldn't, so that I could talk.
The back of racism is capitalism.
I'm going to play that again.
The back of racism is capitalism.
This really gave me the irrits. The back of capitalism is race. No, I'm going to play it again.
Back of racism is capitalism.
The back of racism is capitalism. I've lived in China. I have a Chinese national as a wife. I visit China. I have family in China. I know what racism is in a communist country. I don't tell you, it's uglier than anything you will have faced, woman. I think COVID's pretty much proven that, but I'll tell you a little story about my first meeting with my wife. I met her online through business, and that sort of led to more things. And so I went to China to meet her, and I was doing what I had to do back then. I try and not follow the rules too closely anymore when I go to China. But the rules when you go to China as a foreigner is you're meant to book into a 3-star hotel or more. So I was in a hotel in Shenzhen when I entered a lift with my then not yet wife, and we walked in with this great big black guy. I'm 6 foot tall. He was taller than me, not by a hell of a lot, but taller. Muscular looking guy, handsome I'd say. My wife cowered in the corner of the lift for the 3 to 5 floors. I can't remember how high we had to go up, but the lift was slow and we were in there for a while. So I kicked off a conversation, just the polite banter you do as an obvious foreigner in a foreign country to another foreigner. I mean, I'm white, he was black. Everyone around us is short and yellow. I can't express it any better way than that. So yes, I kicked off. It's the sort of thing, you sort of ask where you're from, what language do you speak? So you can try and start something. And noticing my wife's reaction to him, I thought I'd better head that off somewhere as well. But what I learned later, after we had a bit of a chat about the guy in the lift, was that the Chinese have an almost pathological fear and racism towards black people. They have a racism towards everybody. There's a racism towards white people that's very different from that, but it's still a form of racism. They have a certain amount of racism for their own ethnic minorities, although they will cry that China is one country. A lot of that is based on the idea that the Han people, which my wife is Han, but the Han is the model for China. Everyone should be like the Han. And unfortunately, if you're from out further into the boondocks of China, the less Han you're going to be. There are a lot of racial minorities within China that are not Han. This does create a certain level of racism towards minorities in their own country. The point I'm getting to is that if racism, capitalism is the back of racism, oh fucking jeez, it was such a stupid statement, I can't even remember how it rolls, but I think I can sum it up as, if capitalism is the back of racism, then communism must be the face of racism. Socialism must be the face of racism. And I've got to say that I've known this from another perspective as well, because I've known someone from Kurdistan who, I'm pretty sure that Kyrgyzstan, doesn't matter, who moved to Moscow to try and find work because their own country is fairly poor and they're part of the ex-Soviet bloc that's still friendly to Russia. So she'd moved to Moscow, and what she'd found was that there was an extreme amount of racism towards Asian people in Russia, in white Russia. Now, is this a hang-on from the communist days? Is it that Russia used to be on the face of racism, but now that it's a capitalist country, it's now the back of racism and getting over it a little bit? I don't know. This was a stupid statement, and I just thought it was worth pointing out that communism is not immune to racism. Nobody anywhere is immune to racism. This woman is a fucking racist. She's racist to her own people if she perceives them to not be her selected group of her people. It's like you're talking to a feminist about housewives. Those are not the right women. They're not the women that we should be aspiring to be. Excuse me. Yes, and that's exactly where this woman is. She's amongst the most racist of racists without realising she's racist, and while accusing everyone else of being racist. I've harped on that point quite enough, but I really, really needed to point out that I have my own personal experiences with racism in a communist country. And it's much worse than anything this woman will have ever faced.
And they say about education, we need a black militia. What we're saying is, you push.
I've got to stop. What the fuck was that? Does anyone understand what the fuck that was? Did she say it wrong? Did she not, was there a comma or a dot there missed or something? I don't know. They talk about education and you need a black militia. How are those fucking things even slightly similar? What the fuck was that? They talk about education. What about education? Get yourself an education, maybe, and lift yourself out of the gutter. Although, apparently you don't live in the gutter. So you're not just well-off black woman. You're a well-off black woman. But in any case, what the fuck was that? And who the fuck needs a black militia? I'm sitting here doing this at bloody 4 o'clock in the morning. And yesterday, the news was that the black militia group that's been set up in America, that goes around looking like it's actually doing something, looking cool, and may actually be paid activists. Somebody accidentally triggered his firearm and shot 3 people in the militia. One of the militiamen, so-called militiamen, shot 3 of his own. Are these really the police, the people we want the police replaced by? I tell you what, we put them in the black suburbs looking after the black people and see how many of you are left at the end of the month. Fucking hell. Look, we know through all this BLM shit, the crime that's gone up is black on black crime. It's gone up massively. And you're gunning down kids and people at funerals. That's just the US. But that's where this shit's centred. It's not centred in the UK. You don't even have half the experiences they've had historically.
We push. You fight, we fight. Peace is not peace until you recognise our life. And we're not going to lay down no more. I'm not going down on a knee. I'm always going to be 10 toes standing. Just like my ancestors, 10 toes standing.
I think that's an admission there that her ancestors are not slave stock. She and her people have been 10 toes standing throughout history. So maybe they were the ones taking the slaves and selling them to the white men. I don't know. I want to point out here, before we go on, that I'm really loving Soy Boy back here. He fucking gives me a thrill. I just can't. Look, Bum Fluff Face and Soy Boy, just... Dude... I don't know what face of the revolution you are, but it's not impressive. This bloke here, Mr. Clapalong, he's one of them. He looks like he's standing to the side as somebody impartial or, a bystander. But he stands behind them later, to the rear of them later. Sorry, 4 o'clock throat. Yeah, I don't think he's independent at all, but he's got the noddies. He just nods along with all of this crap, and I don't understand how anyone nods along to this crap. Anyway, keep an eye on Mr. Soyboy. He's fun to watch.
No justice! No justice! Take it to the streets! I can't hear you. No justice! No justice! Take it to the streets. Take it to the streets. I ain't scared of no terrorist group. The police is no different from the KKK.
What? What? Terrorism, police, KKK. How do these things relate? And you're a POM. Like, well, wherever the fuck you're from, I'm assuming you're a POM because you're in England, living in England. Where the fuck did you have any experiences with the KKK? Like here in Australia, there was no KKK. Okay, there might have been some white supremacist Fruit Loops along the way. And I'm telling you now, you're not improving that situation. But when did you experience the KKK? And how the fuck is the Pommy police anything like that? The Pommy police are busy letting you do whatever the fuck you like, while they come down hard on anyone who even tweets something they might not like. You know, the nasty words online to someone like you. Shit, if I was a POM, they'd probably arrest me for this video. But the fact is that nobody is repressing you. There's never been a KKK coming after you. Brown people were protected by the bloody the groomers raping white kids and other brown kids who weren't their kind of brown kids, like you and your coons. Alright? Would you let the coons kids be raped? Because that's how you come off. The police didn't act to arrest brown people because they thought they might be seen as racist. I don't know, maybe in the light of Epstein, who didn't kill himself, by the way, maybe the high-ranking police told them to lay off because they're involved. A lot of money, a lot of influence going on around there. Just saying. But whatever it was, the excuse being used is we didn't arrest people because they were brown and we didn't want to be seen as racist. In the meanwhile, white children were being molested, groomed, sold, killed. The police were not there to protect you because they were busy arresting people for tweeting shit.
They stand around and protect statues and buildings instead of people.
Right. So your vandalism apparently is allowed just because you decided that you're allowed to vandalise shit. Look, the people of a nation generally pay for those things. They pay for their upkeep. They're a part of our history. They record things. You don't have to like everything about those things. I mean, I'm damn sure the people that we put up on a pedestal are not perfect humans, because none of us are fucking perfect humans. You're certainly not a perfect human. You're about as far from that as, well, you'd circumnavigate the world a few times, let's put it that way. But yes, your destruction of statues is apparently the same as the police arresting people. I don't know. People getting arrested for tweeting. You're concerned about statues being protected from you because apparently your destruction of public property is mild in comparison to tweeting. Are you fucking insane? By the way, Soy Boy here, I bet he's the sort of guy who gets down and gives you a kick after 6 other people have beaten you up. I just know. I look at him and I see people I've known in the past, and he is so soy, and he's so the guy who runs in and gives you that extra kick when you've been beaten to a pulp already. Fucking hell.
They need to join the local council and start to litter pick too. When I say they have a pepper spray, we have our own too. They have smokes, we have it too.
Okay, so now why are you on the street? I need to know why you are still on the street. Because what you've just admitted to there is urban terrorism. You're a terrorist. You've armed yourself to go to war with the constabulary, the local police, the police, the people who are meant to be representative of the law. You've armed yourself to go to war with them. Why are you still on the street? Okay? Do you need protecting, or does everyone else need protecting from you now you're armed?
Come together, put your fist in the air. Black power! We need our own political party, because we have David Lammy's tokenistic. We have Sadiq Khan is tokenistic. Priti Patel, tokenistic.
That's 3 more people that she thinks are coons, by the way. That's what she's saying. She's saying these people are tokens, and what that translates to in her mind is these people are coons. 3 prominent black people, and she thinks they're coons. And they need their own political party now, because the coons are in the other political parties. She can't possibly get there. And her minders are not getting there either. Her wranglers are not getting into those parties and that politics either. So they really need her to stand up and be the face of their politics.
We've had so many inquiries. We've had the Grenfell inquiry, the Windrush inquiry, the McPherson inquiry, the COVID inquiry. Fuck them. They know they're racist.
What the fuck did the COVID inquiry have to do with racism? How fucking stupid was that statement? How fucking stupid. I brought up something that was racist, a study that was done that's never been released yet. Nobody seems to be intent on releasing the rape gang inquiries report, do they? And there was definite race involvement in that. There's definite a race component to that. What the fuck did the COVID report say about race? If it said anything, it said the poor people have worse health and so are more susceptible, and men still die in more and greater numbers. That are still dying in greater numbers. There's a fucking racism in that.
Get ready to fight them. If they don't bring peace, they know what's going to happen. One solution!
Revolution!
One solution!
Revolution!
Look at Mr. Larpin here, having a nice chuckle. He's in it to get laid, isn't he? And coming as number 6 to beat someone up. And let's face it, this nice tight black shirt on here on this young lady. She's exactly what Mr. Soy's trying to hunt down. Someone has to say these things. In any case, I've got no problem with these people standing around screeching for revolution. None at all. But when earlier you admitted to being armed, why are you still on the streets? Why?
One solution!
Revolution!
No justice!
No peace!
Take it to the streets!
Fuck the police!
Woo, fuck them!
And I love this. This shot. Right, this is where this ends. And this shot. It's fucking brilliant, right? She's got a white keeper. Is this her white keeper? She looks like she's looking around to see that it's all okay. And Mr. Soyboy's looking the same direction. It's like these two people are looking for approval over here somewhere. I wonder. Maybe they're looking past her. Maybe they're looking to hand the mic over to someone. But it just strikes me that these two are looking this way. And we know, we have evidence that she has a white handler. It's quite amazing the shit that these people are presenting. Anyway, I want to do a quick one. This is a video that came up. It's not related to these people, but it is related to this activism. But I just wanted to bring it up because it was such a total and blatant fucking lie. It really got up my jumper. Graphic content, hang on, before you go too far, graphic content. These images are so blurred and so distant that you really can't see anything. Now, if you're going to be that easily offended by no blood or anything, just shadows being tossed around a screen, then yeah, this might trigger you. But I'm not into trigger warnings, so you just watch your bastards. But anyway, look, here it is. But this is the reality of today. You have an obligation to watch. So don't worry about the trigger warning. You have an obligation to watch. I'll try not to pause this too often. I'm going to run the footage slow, so if you are going to be offended, I will be slowing it down to show you things that need to be seen. On July 4th, 2020, Summer Taylor was killed while peacefully protesting in support of Black Lives Matter. Hang on, don't you dare. In support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Let's just put this on the table, shall we? This is the first blatant lie. The protests had stopped for the day. This was about 2 o'clock in the morning. These people were essentially partying on a freeway, and they had blocked the freeway off with 3 cars. And they were partying behind the cars. Now, this was not a Black Lives Matter protest. As noted, those protests had finished hours before. These people are just hanging out. Here's a video of the horrific act. I'm going to slow this. Okay. You can see the sweeping bend that this car has come around. I don't know how much that... Right, as someone who's done long haul driving and night driving, I've been a chauffeur, I've been a delivery driver. I am a long haul driver who's driven nights. In Australia, that means looking out for kangaroos and things all bloody night, which can be hard work. This car has essentially come around a slow bend. Maybe these cars were not obvious. 2 of them are clearly dark coloured, maybe black. 1 of them is white. He is on the outside lane, so he remains in the outside lane. So maybe he's come around and he's seen the white car. Just move this ahead. Right. So you see him coming down. He's travelling at highway speed, by the way. This is a highway. He is at highway speed. He comes around the car, missing the car. And you can see him turning away from the people. Now, it is entirely possible with the way your eyes focus at night that his eyes only allowed him to see these vehicles. He might not have seen the dark ones until quite late and only seen the white one. Being in the outside lane, this might have made more sense than going the other way. In any case, his eyes were probably focused on the cars. He would not have seen these people behind. These people would have almost been invisible to him, maybe even totally invisible to him. As you can see, he hit someone. As you can see, he hits someone else. Now you can see the back end of the car is lost. He's lost control of this car, trying to avoid the people. I don't think this was his plan to just hit the people. He's come around here at a high speed because this is a highway, and he's lost the back end of the car. And you can see that because he rights the car again as he comes out. This was not a deliberate thing. There might even be some gravel or something on that medium strip. So he comes back around. Now, I don't know whether or not he stopped. The video doesn't give us that much information. It runs out there. I'm going to go back on that and run it for you at full speed so you can see how fast this happened. How little reaction time the driver may have had. Right, it's pretty horrific looking. It's a pretty nasty accident for everyone involved, I'm damn sure. And I've got to admit that I stopped caring when they started lying. That's how it runs. You lie to me to try and emotionally blackmail me into something. I stopped caring. I was recently watching an episode of a show from the early 90s, late 80s, where they were talking about African kids dying, and they were using emotional blackmail on me. And I'm sorry, I stopped caring the minute you stopped lying. You want my money, you want me to do something for you, you give it to me straight. So I don't really care what happened here. I have, apart from the fact that I am a biological realist, I bring the volume down on that. I understand that they found that I think the tribal number of people we have around us is around 125 people. That's how many people we might consider close through our lives. And apparently it's about the size of most native tribes. So I have the ability to care deeply for a very small number of people. These people are not part of that number. They're not even part of the extended area I live in or nation I live in. I can't be expected to care that much in the first place. When you lie to me, you just make it worse. Alright, I'm going to play this out. The driver was driving the wrong way down a freeway that has been closed for the last 19 days as a result of protesting. Again, lies. He's not on the wrong side of this road. He is on the right side. There were some assumptions where I picked this up that maybe a fellow Australian had looked at this video and seen them on the wrong side of the road. Maybe. I'm inclined to think this is a lie because they've lied before. But in the US, this is the right side of the road. Other people who live in the area have noted this is the right side of the road. I have also noted that the road was not closed. The road had warning signs on it that there might be people active on the road, and we can assume that that meant during reasonable hours of the day and night, not 2 a.m. in the morning. But these people were partying out on a freeway at 2 a.m. in the morning, on a road that was not closed. They'd blockaded it with cars and put themselves on the wrong side of those cars. So yes, killing Summer Taylor. And we're going to get excited here. Jeez. Hold that one up there a long time. This is Summer Taylor. I'm telling you now, I've seen other photos of Summer Taylor. They searched hard to find this one. They really had to dig to make her look this good. Because I can tell you now, think SJW. What would you expect to find in the way of human beings under that title? And that's what this person looked like. They really dug hard to try and find a photo that would be acceptable to the wider society so that we would all feel emotionally attached to the cute girl. I'm telling you now, that's not the case. Again, this was another lie presented to us. If it hadn't been that this video was such a lie, I might say they were just being generous. But because they've been so blatant with their lies and their omissions, and we'll get to that this photo was in fact a lie. A deliberate, calculated lie. She was only 24. A white person. I don't know why that makes a difference. If she was a black person, would it be worse? I don't know. Don't know the significance. So America, maybe now you'll start listening. See, when they said, "I'm white," you could start to assume that this was what they call radical right. Say their names. But this says that they're not. This says they're radical left. And I'm going to get that off my fucking screen, because fuck that shit. The truth of this video, the thing they've left out, the thing they didn't tell you about the driver of this car, the thing they didn't tell you about this person driving this car, is he's an African immigrant to the United States. He was returning home from work at 2 a.m. in the morning when he came across this on an open highway. Everything about this video was a fucking lie, and that just got up my nose so fucking much. I recorded this video in the hope that I would find some time to use it. So I'm tagging it on the end of that other fucking idiot from the UK just to get it out of my system. Alright. Now, because this is the first time I've done that, this video format, I'm going to see if the tail that I've made works. And that's it. I've had enough. I'm going. I do not want to do this anymore. I've had enough of this. I'm out of here. I've been the anti-theocrat. May your gods remain fictional, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, have fun.